John Carpenter's The Thing because it was on ITV late at night, and it scared the life out of me, and I was amazed that this film from the late 70s or early 80s, I don't know, could have that effect on me in 2008. And the main reason why it has that effect is because those practical effects, they don't age. CGI can age in a few years, and so something that impresses you in the cinema a few years later doesn't have the same effect because it ages so fast. Whereas these practical effects made with bubble gum and things like that from the 70s literally made me shout out loud in sort of horror. And same with The Fly and things like that. And so I woke up in the middle of the night in Glasgow and I couldn't go back to sleep. And there's this underpass which has these beautiful murals on which are in the film. And I just thought, you have to shoot something there. And then that thought led to, well, what would happen if... How would you, with no budget at all, enact a transformation in that underpass? And then that was the seed for the thought. And then I just couldn't shake it.
I'd come back to the flat and Alistair had been talking about working on the film, and I'd always been a bit interested in what he was doing because he was getting all these deliveries and was showing me the sketchbooks, and he was painting the wings for the Tooth Fairy at the time. And I'd just come back from the studio one night and I basically just said to him, oh, if you want music for it, then I'd be interested in doing the music for it. And then eventually he was like, yeah, that'll be great, you know. So I sent him some samples of stuff and then started working on it from there, basically.
The process was essentially just a bit of a learning curve. I just had to keep learning. I began by, because I'm not a writer, I don't think I'm a writer, but and I've never written anything, I've never filmed anything, I've never directed anything by myself. And because I didn't feel like I was a writer, I essentially got a load of sketchbooks, because from waking up in the night I had the image of the end, and then from that I worked out the beginning, so I had the images of the end and the beginning, and then I just began drawing, and whenever I didn't know what happened next, I'd stop, and then I'd go away for a few weeks or go walking, and then I'd think about what logically would happen next from that image, and then when I had it, I'd draw the next bit until I got to the stuck in the next bit. And then the dialogue scenes, when I knew there was dialogue scenes, even there's only 2 dialogue scenes in the movie and they're both only about 3 minutes each, but those I just agonised over for ages because everything I wrote just seemed to feel cheesy and I just hated it. So it took me ages I just had all these notes from the pad that I would write customers' orders on, and if something struck me I'd just write it on the back and then put it in my pocket. Yeah, and then filming itself, yeah, then that's sort of how the script sort of came about. And then filming itself, I just learned on the job. If, you know, we had a lot of problems and you just have to solve them because you only have that space for that certain amount of time. And if you, and you have to get it because you can't come back just because there's not the money to come back. But I was so lucky because of the team I had around me. The actors were great and they just, anything I asked, they just did it and they got it. And Simon and Paul, Kim, all fantastic. And then the team, Ida, my sound designer, Sita, my assistant director and puppeteer, Kirsten, costume designer, they all were just so patient, and anything they asked for they just rolled with those punches, and somehow we did it, and I'm proper chuffed.
It was really good because I was already in the studio working on my own solo stuff, and prior to that I'd been recording a lot of material with other groups and things like that, so it was just a chance to experiment and play around a bit more with ideas that I'd already had that I really wanted to see through. At the time I was really enjoying Johnny Greenwood's score for what's the name for it?
Phantom Thread?
No.
No Country? I mean, sorry, There
No,
Will
it's
Be?
that Lynn Ramsey one. You Were Never Really Here? Yeah. So I was really inspired by Johnny Greenwood's You Were Never Really Here soundtrack, and just the kind of the intensity of it, and I really wanted to capture that and do something similar with it, and this short film was a great opportunity to do that, basically, and play around with that genre, really. So yeah, so it was more about playing around with that, and because it's focused around, for me, as primarily wanting to focus on the double bass, it was another chance to try and explore the intensity of that as an instrument with the music as well. So. I would say it's quite tense. There is, I was thinking today that there is a funny moment in it that actually made me laugh, like properly lol, which is quite good and imaginative.
In 3 words, I'd say it is unconventional, Scottish, it's a bit weird. Yeah, those are my 3.